So you're thinking about a career as a waste management officer, protecting the environment one garbage bag at a time. Have you ever wondered what these officers really do, though? Today, we're cracking open RoleCatcher's in-depth career guide. We're diving deep into this surprisingly complex field.
RoleCatcher is fascinating. They've gone way beyond your typical job description, you know. They've analyzed thousands of actual job postings and real employee profiles. You're getting a really realistic view of the career path that way.
It's like they have a direct line to the job market. Plus, they've even got AI tools to analyze your resume and help you prep for those interviews, which we'll definitely unpack a bit later. But first, let's talk trash, or should I say waste management.
Right.
This guide really digs into the day-to-day realities of being a waste management officer.
It's a much more strategic role than most people realize. We're not just talking about collecting trash here. Waste management officers are really involved in shaping city planning, advocating for new environmental policies, and even educating the public about the circular economy.
You're saying it's a lot more than meets the eye.
Absolutely. The guide breaks down the career path into 3 stages: waste management assistant, waste management officer, and senior waste management officer. Each stage comes with more responsibility, of course, bigger projects, and a much greater impact on how waste management is actually handled.
So you're not just moving up the ladder, you're influencing how an entire organization, or even a community for that matter, thinks about waste. That's got to be pretty cool. But let's be real for a second. What about the less glamorous side? What are some of the challenges that the guide highlights?
It doesn't shy away from the tough stuff, that's for sure. You might be dealing with hazardous materials, working in less than pleasant conditions some of the time, and putting in long hours, potentially even weekends.
Definitely not your typical desk job then.
Yeah.
But what about the rewards? What makes it all worthwhile?
Job stability is a big one. As the world generates more and more waste, the demand for qualified professionals to manage it, well, that's only going to increase.
That's definitely reassuring to hear in this job market.
It is. Plus, there's a really clear path for advancement. And let's not forget about those intangible rewards. Knowing you're making a real difference for the environment and public health.
Yeah, that's got to feel good. Now let's talk about the skills you need for a minute. I imagine you need to be able to identify different types of plastic in your sleep right now.
That might help. But the guide emphasizes a much broader skill set than you might expect. Think time management, critical thinking for those unexpected challenges, and surprisingly, strong customer service skills.
Wait a minute. Customer service? Who are they dealing with besides frustrated residents calling about missed pickups?
It's more diverse than you'd think. They're interacting with everyone,
Yeah.
from government agencies to facility managers to industry stakeholders, ensuring everyone's on the same page when it comes to regulations and sustainable practices.
So you're not just managing waste, you're managing relationships and expectations. That's really interesting. And this is where RoleCatcher goes above and beyond. They have this incredible database of interview questions to help you prepare.
It's seriously impressive. Over 120,000 interview questions with a dedicated section just for aspiring waste management officers.
And it's not just a list of questions. They offer real insights into what those interviewers are actually looking for, common mistakes to avoid, and even some sample answers. It's like having a secret weapon for your job hunt. But let's not get ahead of ourselves.
You're right. Let's stick with the prep for now. Before you can wow them with your waste wisdom in an interview, you need the right stuff on your resume. And RoleCatcher really breaks down those essential skills into 3 main categories: core abilities, knowledge, and learning. And then, of course, those all-important interview skills.
Okay, so it's not just about knowing how to take out the trash properly.
Yeah.
What kind of core abilities are we really talking about here?
It's about those skills that translate across careers. Time management is absolutely crucial. Nobody wants a garbage crisis on their watch, right? Critical thinking is key for those unexpected challenges, which, let's face it, they're going to pop up. And here's the thing that might surprise you: people management. It's really essential in this field.
People management. I get the whole time management thing.
Yeah.
And the problem-solving aspects, of course. But who are they managing? Besides maybe a team of dedicated recycling enthusiasts.
Think bigger: waste management officers. They often collaborate with a whole bunch of different people: government officials, facility operators, even concerned citizens at those town hall meetings. You need to communicate really effectively, find that common ground, and sometimes even navigate some pretty tricky situations.
Yeah.
With diplomacy and grace.
So it's like you're an environmental ambassador almost, not just a trash supervisor.
It really adds a whole new layer to the job.
It does.
And we can't forget about the technical side either. RoleCatcher highlights the importance of understanding waste management technologies, staying up to date on those ever-changing environmental regulations, and even having a really good grasp of budgeting and financial management.
Okay, so you need a blend of scientific knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
people skills,
Mm-hmm.
and a head for numbers. It's like a sustainability hat trick.
That's a great way to put it. The guide also emphasizes that learning doesn't stop.
Right.
Once you actually land the job, they really suggest staying active in the field, maybe attending some industry conferences, joining professional organizations, and even pursuing certifications to stay ahead of the curve.
So you're constantly expanding your waste wisdom. What kind of cutting-edge stuff are these waste management officers learning about? Can you give me some
Yeah.
examples?
Imagine diving deep into the world of anaerobic digestion. That's where microorganisms break down organic waste and turn it into biogas, which is a renewable energy source. Or maybe you'd be fascinated by plasma gasification, a technology that uses really high temperatures to convert waste into synthetic gas, and even some other valuable materials. These are just two examples of the evolving technologies that are shaping the future of waste management.
Wow. Waste management really is at the forefront of environmental innovation. I'm starting to see why it's not just a job, but a whole career path with room to grow and make a real impact. But speaking of careers, let's talk about actually getting hired. We know that RoleCatcher has that gold mine of interview questions. But what kind of curveballs should these aspiring waste management officers be prepared for?
Get ready for some thought-provoking scenarios. One question that often throws people off is, can you describe a time when you had to resolve a conflict or issue related to waste management? They're not just looking for those textbook answers here. They want to see that you can actually apply your knowledge to real-world, messy situations.
So it's not enough to know the rules. You need to have handled a few garbage-related dilemmas firsthand. What kind of situation would really impress them?
Imagine this. There's been a contamination issue in the recycling stream, and residents are understandably confused and frustrated. How would you address the situation? Educate the community and actually implement solutions to prevent it from happening again. They're looking for that blend of problem solving, communication, and leadership, all while staying cool under pressure.
It's like being a waste management detective, piecing together clues and finding those practical solutions. What other kinds of brain ticklers does RoleCatcher have up its sleeve?
Another one that comes up pretty often is, how do you stay up to date with the latest waste management practices and technologies? Remember, we talked about those constantly evolving technologies. They want to see that you're genuinely curious and actively engaged in the field.
So reading those industry publications, attending conferences, maybe even following those waste management gurus on social media. It's like being a sustainability influencer.
You got it. And that passion, it really shines through. Interviewers can spot someone who's genuinely interested in the field, and that can make all the difference.
It's not just about reciting facts. It's about conveying that enthusiasm for all things waste-related. But let's be honest. Interviews can be nerve-wracking. Any advice for someone who might be freaking out a little bit about facing a panel of waste management experts?
Nerves are totally normal. It means you care. My advice is to reframe those nerves as excitement. You've made it this far. They see potential in you. Now it's just your time to shine and show them what you can bring to the table.
So it's more like, I'm excited to show them what I know instead of, I hope they don't think I'm a garbage sorting fraud.
Exactly. Remember, an interview is a two-way street. It's just as much about you deciding if the company and the role are a good fit for you as it is about them evaluating you. So go in there with confidence. Be yourself. And don't be afraid to ask questions.
Okay, I'm feeling more confident already. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about the educational pathways. That can lead to a career in waste management. Does RoleCatcher offer any insights into that?
They do. They highlight a few key academic areas that often provide a strong foundation, though there's no single right way to enter the field. Environmental science is a popular choice, as it equips you with a broad understanding of environmental issues, sustainability principles, and research methods.
So it's not just about trash. It's about understanding that interconnectedness of the environment and how waste fits into that bigger picture.
Exactly. That holistic perspective is becoming more and more vital as we move toward a more circular economy. And then there's engineering, which brings a whole other set of really valuable skills to the table.
Because you need someone who can design those state-of-the-art recycling facilities and those waste energy plants.
You got it. Environmental engineering focuses on developing those practical solutions to environmental challenges. And that includes finding innovative ways to manage waste. And of course, there are more specialized degrees. in waste management itself, where you can really dive deep into the technical intricacies of the field.
So you can actually major in garbage. That's pretty cool. What do you learn in a program like that?
You'd explore everything from waste characterization, basically figuring out what's actually in our trash, to the ins and outs of those different treatment technologies. You'd also delve into regulatory compliance, because the legal side of waste management is crucial, and environmental impact assessment, which is all about evaluating those environmental consequences of our waste management practices.
It sounds like you're getting a crash course in all things garbage. But let's be real. Experience is key in any field. Does RoleCatcher have any suggestions for how these aspiring waste management officers can get their hands dirty, so to speak, and gain some practical experience?
They do. While education is important, hands-on experience can really make your resume stand out. They suggest maybe volunteering at waste management facilities, interning at recycling centers, or even participating in community cleanup events.
So it's about immersing yourself in the world of waste management, even if it's just for a few hours a week.
Absolutely. Not only does it give you a taste of the day-to-day realities of the job, but it also allows you to network with professionals in the field and potentially secure a glowing reference or two.
It's like they say, one person's trash is another person's treasure trove of career opportunities. Speaking of careers, I'm curious about the different stages of a waste management career path. Does RoleCatcher go into detail about that? Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're wrapping up our exploration of the fascinating world of waste management officers, guided by, of course, RoleCatcher's insights.
We've dug into those diverse responsibilities, the surprising skills needed, and even how to ace those make-or-break interview questions.
And now, for the grand finale, we're talking career progression. Because let's be honest, nobody wants to be stuck sorting plastic from paper forever, right? RoleCatcher does a great job of outlining a clear path for growth, with each stage offering more responsibility and influence.
It's like leveling up in a sustainability-themed video game. Remember those career stages we talked about earlier? You start as a waste management assistant, then climb to waste management officer. And finally, if you've got the right stuff, you can become a senior waste management officer.
So each step, it isn't just a pay raise. It's a chance to make a much bigger impact.
Exactly. Think of it as expanding your sphere of influence when it comes to shaping how an entire organization, or even a community for that matter, thinks about and manages its waste.
Okay, let's break down those stages, starting with that entry-level role. Waste management assistant, what's a typical day like for someone just dipping their toes into the waste management waters?
Picture this. You're on the front lines, getting that hands-on experience. You're assisting with inspections, learning the ins and outs of the different waste streams, maybe even getting to put on a hazmat suit to deal with some particularly interesting materials.
So not always glamorous, but definitely a chance to learn the ropes.
Absolutely. It's during this stage that you're really building those essential foundational skills: keen observation, meticulous data collection, and maybe even a bit of gentle persuasion. When you spot someone trying to sneak a plastic bottle into the paper recycling bin, it's all part of the learning process.
It's all about those teachable moments. But let's fast forward a bit. You've put in the time, you've proven yourself capable, you've even got a few good stories about contaminated recycling bins under your belt. You're ready to level up to waste management officer. What changes at this stage?
Now you're not just following the rules. You might be the one helping to create them. You're developing waste management plans for different departments, conducting more in-depth inspections, and potentially even training new recruits, sharing the wisdom that you've gained.
So you're like the Yoda of waste management, guiding the next generation of Jedi Masters.
That's one way to put it. But it's not just about being the waste wisdom guru. At this stage, you're collaborating more with different departments, maybe even presenting your findings and recommendations to those higher-ups.
So those communication skills we talked about earlier, they become even more crucial. It's not just about knowing the difference between compostable and recyclable. It's about being able to articulate the importance of those choices. And people who might not even think twice about tossing a coffee cup in the trash.
You're exactly right. As you progress in your career, those soft skills, communication, negotiation, the ability to present that complex information in a clear and engaging way, those become almost as important as your technical knowledge.
Because at the heart of it, waste management isn't just about garbage, it's about people. It's about understanding their behaviors, addressing their concerns, and inspiring them to make more sustainable choices.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Now, let's say you've truly made your mark as a waste management officer. You've streamlined processes, implemented innovative programs, maybe even convinced the CEO to trade in their disposable coffee cups for a reusable mug. What's next? Where do you go from there?
Yeah, is there like a final boss level? In the waste management world?
There is. And that's where the role of senior waste management officer comes in. This is where you reach the pinnacle of your career, where you transition from managing waste to actually shaping the future of waste management on a much larger scale.
Okay, now I'm picturing a corner office with panoramic views of perfectly sorted recycling bins.
Maybe not that specifically, but you're not far off. A senior waste management officer is responsible for setting that overall vision and strategy for waste management within their entire organization, or even across a whole region.
So you're basically the waste management czar, influencing policy decisions and inspiring future generations of sustainability superheroes.
That's the idea. You're working at a really high level, collaborating with government agencies, industry leaders, and even community stakeholders. To really create a more sustainable future, it requires a really unique blend of expertise, vision, and leadership.
That sounds like a lot of responsibility,
Yeah.
but also incredibly rewarding, knowing you're having such a real impact.
It absolutely is. And you need to be comfortable thinking critically about those really complex challenges, developing innovative solutions, and inspiring others to get on board with a more sustainable way of life.
So it's not just about managing waste. It's about leading the charge toward a zero-waste future.
Precisely. And that's what makes this career path so exciting. You're not just doing a job, you're making a really tangible difference in the world.
Well said. And on that inspiring note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the world of waste management officers. If you're passionate about the environment, eager to make a real difference, and not afraid of a little hard work, and maybe a few smelly situations, this could be the career path for you. Big thanks to RoleCatcher for providing such a comprehensive guide and insightful tools to help you navigate this increasingly important field.
And thank you for joining us on the deep dive. Until next time, keep those recycling bins sorted and those sustainability goals high.